thus far? It seems like it's getting the better of the offense more often than not.
And we're just trying to craft. We're trying to craft. We're trying to come out every day, get better. I think training camp is a perfect time to, obviously grasp the playbook, but not just that, but challenge yourselves as far as, where you can see yourself at making plays, where you can see yourself at, um, you know, finding ways to steal different plays and, see the formation from the offense and kind of just execute from there. But, offense is complicated as well. You know what I mean? We're trying to get the formations down and we're trying to just take all the different looks that they're giving us and put ourselves in position to make those plays out there. But I think it's going good so far, man. The guys, everybody's out there working hard. I don't even want to start naming guys because it's difficult, but everybody's taking that next step, and that's what we need together as a defense.
What do you like most about DA?
Yeah, I think just his really, man, just his whole demeanor. You know what I mean? It's nasty. It's man, we gonna dominate. That's what it is. And you feel that when he talk. You feel that the way that he coach. You feel that the way that we practice out there. And as a competitor, it just make you like, yeah, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we want. That's what we want to be. That's our identity, nothing less. And that's what we pride ourselves on. So, like I said, man, it's a long ways away. That's what training camp is for, man, to master the playbook. And that's what our plan is right now.
Tremaine, if you had to take an educated guess right now, and whether you'll be playing middle or will when the season starts, what would it be at this point?
Said if I had to take a guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's out of my control, man. I'm gonna do whatever they put me out there. Whatever position I'm out there, they want me to play. I'm gonna do my thing. So you know what I mean. I'm gonna leave that up to the coach.
Man, y'all been playing a lot of dime. What about that package do you like? It leaves you out there as the only backer, but what are y'all trying to get done when y'all bring in that personnel group?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a linebacker, man, so I want my other linebacker on the field with me. But it's different. It's just a different personnel. There's something that we have in our belt. You know what I mean? If we need to use it, we can use it. I'm pretty sure my guy T want to be out there too. But it's football. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's a matchup type of game. So whatever the coaches think is the best matchup, they'll put us in position to make the best plays. But we got a lot of different guys that can play a lot of different positions. You know what I mean? I think it just gives somebody else an opportunity to come out there and play a position. But whether it's down, whether it's nickel, I got extreme trust in whoever's out there. You know what I mean? So whichever one coaches think is best for us for that particular play, or that particular series, I'm all for it. But like I said, man, it just gives us the flexibility to do different things. Obviously he has different calls in certain personnel groupings, but you know what I mean? Whatever one that he call, I know that we got the guys that can get it done.
Tremaine, Dennis Allen City anticipates you being an exceptional playmaker in this defense. Do you look forward to maybe those opportunities, and do you feel maybe at times the past couple of years you didn't have the chance to be a playmaker as much as you could be?
I definitely look forward to it. Every time I step foot on that field, that's my goal. It doesn't matter, scheme, none of that stuff. Like, I know that I'm a playmaker, and that's what the goal is for me every time I step out there. You know what I mean? I see myself making these plays, honestly, when I go to sleep every night. You know what I mean? And I wake up with that on my mind, like, nah, today going to be the day. Today going to be the day. If it don't happen today, it's going to happen tomorrow. And, you know what I mean? Like I said, just his whole scheme, it's definitely going to be good. It's definitely going to be good, man. I'm looking forward to it. And it definitely got me going for sure.
What about this defense, maybe specifically, do you think will give you more of a chance to be a playmaker?
I just not just me, like I said, I think just the way that he calls it, you know what I mean? It puts different guys in position and make plays, you know what I mean? Once we master that playbook, once we, practice day after day after day, and we can come out and really master this thing, I think guys can figure out, where their place is to make plays in this defense, you know what I mean? Okay, this is a play when I can do this is a play when I can do this. And that goes across the board. So just putting guys in position, now it's up to us to go make those plays.
Tremaine, seems like the ball just finds Colston Loveland. What are you seeing from him from a route running standpoint specifically?
Yeah, I think he's obviously a big guy that can move. Got a big frame. He's strong. You know what I mean? And like I said, he's fast. And just being able to create mismatches on linebackers, being able to create mismatches on the DBs that's covering. I think that's going to be helpful for us. And just having somebody that can do that, somebody that can separate, somebody that can get open, and just be a security blanket for the quarterback, man. A tight end's a quarterback's best friend. I think with him and Cole, you got a two-headed monster, and two guys that can do a lot of extremely good things. So it's a lot of good stuff on our side for the good guys.
Yesterday's practice seemed like it was one of the more physical ones, and Chris got Kyle pretty good and hits across the middle. Was that like a coaching point? Like we want you guys to hit almost like game-like?
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, man, it just shows the the competitiveness that we have in the room. You know what I mean? Guys on offense want to make plays, guys on defense want to make plays, and we compete to make each other better. You know what I mean? I always go by the phrase "iron sharpens iron," and if we don't come out and practice like a game, we can't expect just to turn it on come game time. So we got to treat these practices as if it's the real thing. You know what I mean? Because these in a week here we'll be playing in a real game. No matter if it's the ones, twos, threes, somebody's gonna be out there playing live. So you got to put yourselves in those positions. You got to make yourself uncomfortable. So come game time, that stuff is easy. But we need that type of stuff, man. I mean, that's what training camp is about. It's about chirping. It's about competing. It's about defense pushing offense, offense pushing defense, special teams pushing everybody because that's what you need. You know what I mean? These are the dog days in training camp, and that's what make a man out of you. And that's ultimately what brings a team together.
I mean,
Man.
Brisker was saying yesterday that he can hear Grady chirping a lot. Are you hearing some of the chirping that Grady's doing?
I'm hearing everybody out there, man. It's that type of training camp, you know what I mean? Like we all out there we all out there competing, you know what I mean? And just the sport that we play, chirping and trash talking, that come with competing. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're gonna go in the locker room, we're gonna shake hands, but when we get in between those lines, man, it's everybody chirping. I can't just pinpoint if it's this guy, that guy, because when you're out there on the football field, man, you just hear all type of noise. But it's a good chirp, you know what I mean? It's guys that's competing, it's guys that's showing their passion, guys that's landing on the line each and every day. And like I said, you need that, man. Like I've never been a part of a camp where you didn't have that. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to be special. If you want to be special, it's gonna take that. It's gonna take that coming from the offense. It's gonna take that coming from the defense. So, I mean, we chirping all around, man. But at the end of the day, we brothers when we go back in that locker room, but we compete when we out there on that field for sure.
Couple more. You mentioned earlier, you guys as a defense are sort of getting used to what the offense is showing you a little bit. Does it look like the Lions offense you faced last year at all when you watch it?
Not so much, man, because it's different pieces, different personnels. You know what I mean? As far as the people that we have versus the people that they have. I mean, it's not so much getting used to because they still throwing a lot of stuff at us. I mean, it's training camp, so each week you installing something new. But I mean, it's challenging us as a defense. You know what I mean? I think that's good though that we seeing a lot of that stuff early, because it's going to be a lot of the stuff that we're going to face as the season come along. You know what I mean? So it's not like we going through one thing now. And then a couple months from now, we got to prepare for this type of offense. It's like, nah, we getting everything now, which is challenging us, keeping us on our toes. But at the end of the day, we making each other better.
Ruben Hippolyte has shown some athleticism, even going back to the spring. The pads are on now. Did you get a chance to kind of feel him in his pads yesterday? And what is he like off the field in the classroom or wherever else?
Yeah, nah, I take my hat off to Rue, man, just because, I mean, just the way he goes about his business. You know what I mean? He's locked in each and every day. You could tell that he really loved football. You know what I mean? Like just the way that he go about his business and go about, just taking care of his body. Obviously when he's in here, but just talking to him outside of like football, it's just like he's a real chill, laid back dude. And you could tell that he loved football, man. And when he got out there on the field, you could feel him. Like I said, his speed, his tenacity, like, you know what I mean? Just how aggressive he is, you know what I mean? You want to see that from a young guy. And like I said, man, I take my hat off to him, just the way that he go about his business and carrying himself as a man.
All right. Yeah, look, we're at 7 practices in to training camp. And look, the guys are working hard. They're continuing to improve. We still got a long way to go, but I like the direction that we're headed. Guys are locked in. I think the best thing that I've seen from our group, is that I've seen a lot of improvement from where we were in the springtime. And that's what you really want to see guys get accomplished throughout the course of whether it be the off-season program, OTAs, mini camp, now into training camp. We haven't had to really take a step back. We're giving them a lot of stuff. There's a ton for them to digest, but those guys are doing a really good job of understanding, what we're asking them to do. And then we're continuing to work on, how we have to do it, the way that we're going to play defense. And so I think that's what training camp's really all about. I mean, obviously there's an aspect of, understanding the scheme. But I think as much as anything, it's about just teaching them the way that we're going to play defense, the speed, the violence, the aggressiveness, how we're going to get up and challenge. I think that's been the biggest thing, and I've seen improvements in that regard. I think our coverage aspect, I think Ben mentioned this the other day in his press conference, but the coverage aspect has been a lot more clean, a lot stickier than it was in the spring. So that's that's good to see, and that's a big part of what we do. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
What accounts for that? What would you say accounts for that? Like, how do you explain that the coverage is stickier and, because Ben mentioned that.
Well, I think our guys did a great job, over the offseason, really understanding what we're asking them to do and how we're asking them to play. I think it's also a compliment to, not only the players, but every single one of these assistant coaches. I'm talking about from the front to the linebackers to the back end. I think those guys are doing an excellent job of teaching. And, that's one of the things that Ben said when he hired his staff. The first thing he was looking for is really good teachers, and I think those guys do a great job.
Coach, you've been mixed.
Coach, what was your philosophy on live periods of practice? It was something you guys.
Listen, I think it varies. I think it differs. With your team, whether it's a veteran team, whether it's a young team, first year in the program, as you get further into the program, I think every single one of those decisions that you make as a head coach, there's a lot of variables that go into it. I'm appreciative of the fact that we had a live period yesterday because that's the way the game's played. There's going to be blocking, tackling. Those are all elements that we've got to be able to execute, protecting the football offensively, those types of things. And so I think throughout the course of training camp, we'll see a few of those periods, and I think that's beneficial for both sides of the ball.
Coach, you mixed in a good amount of dime here. What do you like about that personnel package and how it allows you to attack offense?
Yeah, I just think it gives us a little bit more versatility. Versatility from a coverage standpoint, what we want to do coverage-wise, just gives us a little bit more versatility. And yet, look, we're not married to any particular package. We're going to explore a lot of different things, a lot of different packages, and we're going to throw a lot of stuff up against the wall. We're going to see what sticks, and ultimately that's what we're going to do. Put our guys in the best position to be successful. And I think I said this the other day. Our job as coaches is to find the best 11 to give us the best opportunity to play successful defense, and whatever that package is. Is it 3 linebackers? Is it 2 linebackers? Is it 5 DBs, 6 DBs? And that could vary from week to week.
To be able to use Kyler in those situations, moving him around, free safety, outside corner. What do you appreciate about his game that allows you to do that?
Well, look, I think anytime you can have guys that have versatility that can play multiple positions, it gives us the flexibility to do a lot of different things. And look, when you go into a game and you got 48 guys dressed on game day or whatever the case may be, guys that can play multiple spots, you have an injury or two, and then now all of a sudden you got guys that can play multiple spots. It allows you to put your best 11 on the field. And so I think being able to cross-train players, is going to pay off and pay benefits for us, as we get into the season, because the season is a game of attrition. That's what the NFL is. I've said this before, that the NFL is a backup league, which means this. It means at some point your backup players are going to have to go in and play, and we're going to expect that they're going to be able to perform at a level that gives us an opportunity to be successful. So having guys that can play multiple positions just gives us flexibility in terms of how we deploy our personnel.
What's your comfort level with your depth at cornerback right now?
Better than it was in the spring. I've seen a lot of improvement from a lot of different guys. I think Nashawn Wright's improved. Guy that's really kind of stood out to me in the last few days, Nick McLeod. Here's a guy that, in the spring I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to be, but he's come back in great shape. He understands the defense. He's doing all the things that Al's coaching him to do, which is allowing him to be successful. So I feel much better about that than I did in the spring, and yet, look, we still got some improvement to do.
That number 2
As
corner spot open.
you've gotten to know Ben a little bit better over the last 6 months, what do you say makes him tick as an offensive designer, as a play caller?
Oh, well, look, I just think, this guy's an intelligent person. He understands the game. He understands defense, so he understands what the challenges that we face on our side of the ball, and understands, how he can attack those things. And so, look, I think it's been great. really for both sides of the ball. I think both sides are seeing a lot of different things, a lot of things that are challenging. We're having to make a ton of adjustments on our side of the ball. And so every day is a learning experience for us. And I just think his overall knowledge of the game is what makes him, a challenging play caller.
He alluded to the competitiveness in coaching of the battles between you and him in camp, your defense going up against his offense. What do you appreciate about those moments?
I don't know that I necessarily quite look at it like that, like we're competing against each other. I mean, here's what my job is. My job is to put the best freaking defense on the field. And so I'm not really focused a lot on what we're seeing offensively or how they're doing things offensively. Obviously, the National Football League is a highly, highly competitive league, so every day that we go out there, we're always competing. And so I just look at it as I'm trying to coach these guys to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. And so therefore we can put the best product out on the field we can.
From your defensive ends beyond Dial and Sweat, has anybody jumped out?
Well, look, I think we're developing, some depth, at the position. I think we got a lot of guys that, have the capability of playing in our league. Obviously I got some experience with Tano. I think he's been a good addition to our group. I think Dom Robinson's a guy that's, improved a lot from where I saw him on tape last year to what I'm seeing right now. And so, but again, with all of these guys, we're going to temper our evaluations a little bit, and we're going to get into a little bit more live action and just let this competition play out. I mean, there's really not any decisions that are going to be made in the first, couple of weeks of camp. We're going to let this competition play out and, see how it goes.
It's only been 2 days in the past, obviously, but where would you assess the pass rush from what you saw in the padded practices?
Yeah, I think the pass rush has been good. And I think this, a lot of people talk about, pass rush or pass coverage. Okay, those don't happen mutually exclusive. They have to work together. And so for us to have a really good pass rush, we have to have good pass defense. Okay, we have to be able to disrupt routes. We have to be able to change the timing of the routes. So it's not just about our ability to rush the passer, and vice versa. We can be as good as we want to covering these routes, but if we can't win one-on-one matchups up front and be able to get the quarterback off the spot, we're going to struggle in pass defense. So, I think those two things have to work together. And I think overall, throughout the course of camp, I've been pretty pleased with where that's at.
What is Shamar missing with his time out, and what kind of a setback is that for rookie trying to get established?
Well, look, I mean, it's difficult. It's a challenge, So the thing that he has to be able to do right now is number one, attack the rehab and try to get back out as quickly as he can. And then he's got to make sure that he's focused in the things that he can do in terms of the meetings. Because when we're making corrections on the field or in the meeting room, we're not just making corrections for that particular individual that we might be speaking to. We're speaking to the whole room, and so his ability to comprehend those things in the meeting room, I think, is going to be huge for his development and his progression. And look, it's unfortunate that he had an injury. And so, the game goes on, and so we've got to be able to coach the hell out of the guys that are out there and try to get him back out as quickly as we can. And then once we get him out there, try to get him caught up to speed as quickly as we can.
Back to the corner for just a second. I know your top corner is out. I get that everybody's competing, but is the number 2 spot completely up for grabs, or does Tyreek or Deshaun have a leg up on anybody else?
I think it's completely up for grabs. I think as you saw it out there today, you saw some different guys going out there with the ones, and I think that's how you develop the very best defense that you can, is create as much competition as you can, and let the tape make the decision. You with me? And that's really what it's about. All right. Thank you, guys.